Imagine history not as a story written in dusty books, but as a code hidden within ourselves. This code is DNA. It is a molecule found in nearly every cell of your body. It carries the instructions for building you, but it also carries echoes of your ancestors. For a long time, we could only guess about the deep past. We looked at pottery shards and the foundations of ancient buildings. We tried to piece together the story of humanity from what our ancestors left behind. These objects told us a lot. They showed us what people ate, what tools they used, and how they buried their dead. But they couldn't tell us who these people really were, or how they were related to one another. Now we have a new key to unlock these ancient secrets. It is the study of ancient DNA. Scientists have developed incredible techniques. They can now carefully extract tiny, fragile fragments of DNA from bones and teeth that are thousands of years old. It is like finding a message in a bottle that has been tossed on the ocean of time for millennia. Each fragment, no matter how small, contains a wealth of information. This technology allows us to read the genetic stories of people who lived and died long before writing was ever invented. It's a scientific revolution. We are no longer just looking at the shadows of the past. We are meeting the people who cast them. This powerful new tool is completely changing our understanding of human history. We are discovering that the past was far more complex and interconnected than we ever imagined. The story of human civilization is not a simple straight line. It is a tangled web of movement, mixing, and exchange. By comparing the DNA of ancient individuals to each other and to people living today, we can map out ancient migrations. We can see how different groups met and mingled. We can even learn about their family structures and social rules. It is like having a time machine that works on a molecular level, taking us back to see our shared human journey unfold. Recently, a groundbreaking study published on September 30th, 2025, has opened a new window into ancient China. Researchers led by teams at Peking University focused their attention on a place called the Baligang site. This place is in what is now Henan Province, right in the heart of the region often called the cradle of Chinese civilization. What they found there, locked away in the genomes of 58 ancient people, is rewriting the first chapters of East Asian history. It tells a story not just of one group of people, but of a dynamic and ever-changing landscape of cultures and communities. A story that continues to shape the world we live in today, on this very day, October 12th, 2025. The Baligang archaeological site is a remarkable place. It is not just a snapshot of one moment in time. Instead, it was a home for people continuously for thousands of years. The layers of earth at Baligang are like pages in a history book, stretching from the Middle Neolithic period, around 8,500 years ago, all the way to the Late Bronze Age, about 2,500 years ago. By analyzing the DNA from people buried in these different layers, scientists could watch the story of a population unfold across an immense span of time. They were not just studying a single community, they were studying the great-great-great-grandparents of that community and their ancestors before them, all in one place. The first major surprise from the DNA was the discovery of a long-standing genetic mix. From the very beginning, the people of Baligang were a blend of different ancestries. Their genomes showed clear contributions from both northern East Asian and southern East Asian populations. Think of it like a river formed by two different streams. The people living along the Yellow River in the north and those living along the Yangtze River in the south were once thought to be quite separate. But the evidence from Baligang shows that they were meeting and mixing far earlier and more consistently than we knew. This settlement was a true crossroads, a place where different peoples came together. This genetic blending wasn't a one-time event. It was a continuous process. Over the 6,000 years of settlement at Baligang, the precise mixture of northern and southern ancestry changed. At some points, the northern ancestry was more dominant. At other times, the southern influence grew stronger. For example, around 4,200 years ago, there was a noticeable increase in southern ancestry. Scientists believe this was linked to a major climate event happening around the globe. It likely pushed rice farming populations from the south to move northward, bringing their genes and their agricultural traditions with them into communities like Baligang, creating a new blend of people. This discovery fundamentally changes the narrative of how Chinese civilization began. It wasn't born in isolation in one single location. Instead, it emerged from the constant interaction and integration of diverse groups of people over a vast area. The genetic story of Baligang shows us that the deep roots of modern China are incredibly diverse. It reveals a prehistoric society that was dynamic, open, and connected. just one people. They were the product of many, a living testament to the power of human connection and movement across a huge and varied landscape. This mixing of peoples is a fundamental theme throughout all of human history, everywhere on Earth. One of the most profound questions in history is how ideas spread. When archaeologists find a new style of pottery or a different type of crop in a new place, they often assume it means a new group of people moved in, bringing their culture with them. This is the migration model. People move, and they take their ideas with them. For a long time, this was the main explanation for cultural change in the ancient world. If the pots changed, it was because the potters changed. If the food changed, it was because new farmers arrived. It is a simple and logical idea, but the story is often more complicated. The ancient DNA from the Baligang site allows us to test this idea directly. Scientists can now compare changes in the genetic makeup of a population with changes in their material culture, the things they made and used. What they found at Baligang was fascinating. Major cultural shifts were not always matched by major genetic shifts. For instance, the community at Baligang switched from primarily farming rice, a tradition associated with the south, to farming millet, a northern crop. Under the old model, we would expect to see an influx of northern DNA at the same time. But the genes told a different story. The population's ancestry didn't change dramatically when their diet did. This suggests something far more interesting is happening. It points to the power of cultural exchange. The people of Baligang didn't need to be replaced by newcomers to adopt new farming techniques. Instead, it is likely they learned about millet farming from their northern neighbors. Ideas, technologies, and traditions traveled between groups. A trader, a traveler, or someone who married into a neighboring village could have brought the knowledge of a new crop or a new way to make pottery. This is a story of communication and adaptation, not just replacement. It shows that ancient people were connected by networks of exchange, sharing information and innovations across cultural boundaries. This finding forces us to see ancient societies as more sophisticated and interconnected. They were not isolated bubbles. They were part of a living, breathing network of human interaction. The spread of culture can be like the spread of a good idea today. It doesn't require a mass movement of people, just an open channel for communication. This insight from Baligang helps us understand a fundamental aspect of human civilization. We are a species that learns from each other. The ability to share ideas without conflict or displacement is a crucial part of our collective success, both in the ancient past and in our modern, globally connected world. Beyond the grand sweep of migrations and cultural exchange, ancient DNA can give us an incredibly intimate look into the lives of individual families. At Baligang, one specific burial site, known as M13, provided a stunning revelation. This was a collective grave, holding the remains of over 90 people who were buried together over several generations. It was clearly a single, coherent group. But who were they? The answer was hidden in their Y chromosomes. The Y chromosome is a part of DNA that is passed down almost unchanged from father to son. It is a powerful marker for tracing a male lineage through time. When the scientists analyzed the DNA of the 75 males from the M13 burial, they found something astonishing. Every single one of them shared the exact same Y chromosome lineage. This means they were all descended from a single man. They were all part of one big patrilineal family, a clan of fathers, sons, grandsons, and cousins all connected through the male line. In stark contrast, the DNA of the females in the same grave was incredibly diverse. Their maternal lineages, traced through mitochondrial DNA, came from many different outside sources. This genetic pattern paints a clear picture of the society's rules. This social structure is known as patrilicality. It means that when a man and a woman married, the man stayed in the village where he was born, living with his father and brothers. The woman, however, left her own home village to come and live with her husband's family. This is why all the men in the M13 grave were related, while the women were not. This discovery at Baligang, dating back thousands of years, is the earliest direct genetic evidence of a patrilineal and patrilocal society in all of East Asia. It's not a theory based on artifacts, it's a family history written in their very genes. This finding provides a powerful contrast to other discoveries, such as the Fujia site in eastern China, where a matrilineal society, organized around female lineage, was found. It shows that there was no single uniform ancient Chinese culture. Instead, Different societies organized themselves in different ways. Some built their communities around a lineage of fathers, while others centered them on mothers. These discoveries, made possible by ancient DNA, reveal the rich and varied tapestry of human social experiments. They remind us that the ways we structure our families and societies have deep roots, and that our ancestors explored many different paths on the long journey to becoming who we are today.